Hello and welcome to the Three Mouseketeers, the sibling podcast that understands your Disney addiction. My name is Jared.
I'm Amanda.
So Emily is not going to be with us this week. Sorry to disappoint everyone. She has a charity event with her work, so she is currently doing that tonight.
Good
So
for her.
Amanda, yeah, good for her. The place that she works is pretty active within the charity community, and I've volunteered with them before, and it is a great organization. So I'm all
Yeah.
about it. Let's go ahead and talk about what we did Disney this week. Amanda, why don't you go first?
Okay. Today, actually, I went and watched the Christmas special on how they decorate Disney, which I think is really fun and helps get you in the Christmas spirit, especially when you can't get to the parks. And I found one part really interesting, and it was talking about how they do the gingerbread houses. And I know there's a lot of people who are really upset that they aren't bringing those gingerbread houses back this year. And
Oh
I
yeah,
kind of I kind of think I know why though. In the story it was saying how it takes a good 6 months to get these gingerbread houses made. They usually start in June with like mixing all the stuff up and everything and actually get them in the oven by August, which is crazy to me.
that seems a bit early to me.
I mean, it seems really early, but whenever, I mean, think how big these houses are. And I mean, people actually go in there. There's a store in one of them. So it's pretty big and you only have so much oven space. So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it does take a very long time for them to actually get everything together, but just like 6 months seems like still a bit much to me.
And I'm guessing they probably have longer where they're trying to figure out exactly what they're going to do. Cause even though it's really the same, a lot the same, it's not the same, but they do have different designs and things that go with them and different decorations on it, and so that may have actually started usually before that, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I know I'll miss the gingerbread houses at Disney this year because I'm not going to be there. So,
Exactly. That's why you
but
have to watch this because it talks about all the decorations and everything. So you still get to see them even if you're not there. And this year it's not decorated like this anyway, so now you really everybody can enjoy it.
yeah, that's true. I do enjoy going to look at all the gingerbread houses whenever we're there for
Yeah, me
Christmas.
too.
So
So
I'm sure that
next year.
everybody who booked their trip for Christmas are probably pretty upset.
Well, I mean, a lot of people at this point that have booked for December, I think, probably know that one, there's a pandemic going on. So things are a little different. But also, a lot of people are just happy to be there, to not be stuck in the house anymore and get some fresh air and enjoy Disney. So I don't know. I guess you can look at it either way.
I'm going to look at it as being disappointed.
Party pooper.
Yeah, that's
I
me.
mean, I would definitely take being at Disney. Even if I can't see the gingerbread houses, then being at home. So I don't know. That's just me.
That's fair. I think we've all been home too much this year. So,
Yes.
okay. Well, my thing Disney this week is I tried to go and get some Disney toys from McDonald's.
How'd that go
I'm
for
one of
you?
those guys. The McDonald's that is closest to me does not have them yet.
Yes, actually, my daughter has been begging for a Happy Meal for like a week. So we brought her last night to get a Happy Meal. And when we got in the drive through, I was like, oh, can we have two different toys? Because I have two kids. So I was like, can we have two toys that are different? And they're like, oh, it's the same toy for a boy and a girl. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, at least we'll get a cute little Disney toy. And we got it, and it was this little robot that they, first of all, they already had. Second of all, it was not a
Was
Disney
not
toy. It's
Disney.
so depressing.
Yeah. See, the one that I ordered, I actually got a Marvel figurine, which is not what I was wanting, but I guess
I
it's
mean, at
still
least that's
within the realm.
yeah, at least that's closer to Disney than a
Yeah,
robot. A robot top, like the top of it comes off and you spin it. It's a top. It's weird.
yeah. Well, I mean, there are people that are already getting them. I think it was supposed to come out later this month or maybe early
No, I think it was the
December.
17th. So I think they're already supposed to be out. What day is it today?
Okay. Today is the 19th, 18th,
See?
18th, 19th. I don't know. I think it's the
They should
19th.
already be out. They should already be out.
Okay. Well, I saw this like earlier this week and I don't know. They're all very cute. I like them all. I want to get all of them. I'm probably not going to get one of them because I rarely go to McDonald's, but
You
we'll see.
know, somebody on one of the pages I was on was saying that you can actually just go in and buy the toys. You don't even have to have a Happy Meal.
Yes. So a friend of mine that I do Houston Indie Podcast Society with, he tried that. He went to McDonald's and asked for them, and they didn't know what he was talking about, or at least they acted like they didn't know what he was talking about. So unfortunately, he did
Yeah.
not get one.
Well, it's worth a try.
Yeah, of course. But I guess let's go ahead and talk about the main topic that we're going to do tonight. Because obviously, like I said earlier, Emily is not here. So we kind of had to adjust and figure out a topic that was going to be a little bit more specific to me and Amanda rather than all three of us. We want to save all the content that like introduces some of our own personal feelings into, what what we love about Disney. So we wanted to talk specifically about Amanda and being a travel agent who is specifically looking to book Disney trips. I mean, obviously you can book other things, but you got into it specifically wanting to book trips to Disney for people, correct?
Yes, because I don't know if you know this, but I love Disney and
Wait,
I
what?
love going to Disney World. So it just seemed like a great way to help my family out and get to help people out that want to go to Disney.
Yeah, and the
Win
fact
win.
that you already do it before you were even a travel agent. So,
I did for all of my family. I know we had what a trip of what 12 or 13 of us go a couple of years ago, and I planned all that. So that was fun.
yeah, I I don't know how you do it. I could not sit down and organize something that large.
And at
So,
that point, it was all the family with multiple rooms and multiple kids, different ages, and we had dining plans and fast pass plans and multiple days at the parks and park hoppers. So it's a lot that went into it, but it was so much fun. And of course, I had to get us matching shirts. So,
yeah, obviously.
it's big
And they were
planning.
cute. They were Stitch, and it
One of
had
them was
Ohana.
Stitch.
Hmm.
And then we had another one. What was the other one? Now I'm going
I remember
blank.
the I remember the Stitch one. I don't necessarily
Yeah,
remember a
this
second
Stitch.
one.
Oh, nope, not everybody had the second one. That was me and Emily. We
Well, what
had
was that one?
Christmas. We had the Christmas specific ones.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah. So nobody else wanted those, but I loved them. So, and so did him.
yeah. Chris reminded you that you were also living in a foreign country at the time.
That is true. We were living in New Zealand at the time, so made it a little more difficult to plan, but still lots of fun.
Very true. So I do want to go ahead and come at the top of this before I start asking Amanda some questions and getting into it. We do want people that are watching the stream with us to go ahead and ask some questions. Maybe if I'm missing a question that you want specifically asked, or Amanda is kind of going over something that you want to dig a little deeper into, go ahead and leave a comment, and we will try to get to as many as possible. So the first one that I have for you, Amanda, we talk about this on our podcast.
Hmm.
What is the cost of a travel agent? How much is it going to cost somebody to book you as their travel agent?
So for me personally, because all travel agents are a little different, but I do not charge a fee for my services. So it's free.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that is great because a lot of people don't necessarily know. Like, I've never used a travel agent until you became one. Mostly because I didn't want to spend extra fees or anything booking through a travel agent. I just thought, I can do it myself. Typically, I'm only, renting cars and getting a hotel and booking a flight. So a lot of the stuff that I was doing, except for going to Disney, would be, just basic stuff. So I never really thought that I needed a travel agent, but
Right.
unless I was going to Disney, but I had you doing all that for me anyway. So,
Exactly. So you had
uh,
me as a travel agent for free,
yes, I did.
more than free because I was just your family doing it for you.
Yes, exactly. So, just letting everybody know, she does have experience and
Yeah.
plenty of it. But I think that's one of the big questions is some people just don't know that travel agents, majority of travel agents are actually free. They get paid based off commissions from where they're booking to, not from their clients.
Right.
So, anything else about that you want to mention?
Mm, no, I think that's it. I mean, how much better can you get than free? I mean, free advice, free somebody waking up and early in the morning to get your reservations for you. I mean, seems like a win-win to me. Plus, you're helping a small business.
Yeah. So your husband kind of chimed in. He said, "Free, what is the catch? Nothing is really free."
There is no catch. I mean, free is free. My services are free. Obviously, you still have to pay for the vacation yourself. I'm not paying for it for you, but the company I'm booking through pays me. So, Disney, if it's a Disney vacation, Disney cruise, Alani, Disney World, Disneyland, they actually pay us to book you. So I get the same prices as what you would get booking online through Disney, but they give us a cut of that. And so it's built into the price. So whenever you're booking straight through Disney, you're just putting more money in their pockets. If you're booking through a travel agent, then you're helping the small business part of it too and getting the same exact price plus all the extra benefits of having a travel agent.
Right, exactly. And that kind of brings us into the second question I had for you. What services do you offer?
Kind of a little bit of everything. I mean, with Disney specifically, I book the vacation and find the hotel for you. If you know what hotel you want, that makes it pretty easy. If not, then I do quotes and give you some ideas of different hotels that may interest you. If you have a certain budget, I can go, okay, well, this one is out of budget, this one is in budget. So these are the ones you want to look at. I can book tickets. I do dining reservations. If you have fast passes, if they become available again, then I can book fast passes. Um, if discounts become available, I can book those discounts and you won't even have to do anything. You won't have to ask for it. I'll go, oh, I have people traveling during this discount. Let me see what's available. And I call and sit on the phone for sometimes hours waiting to talk to an agent that can get the discount for you. So those are all benefits that you get by booking with me. You don't have to sit on the phone. You just tell me what you want and I do it.
That's pretty interesting. I think the one big thing that I get from that is that even if you book through you, you're not necessarily paying for your whole trip up front. So you are still eligible for those discounts later on, right?
Right. Even if you booked and paid it all off, you could still be eligible for those discounts. You would just get refunded the part that you paid that they didn't need anymore.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing is that you're staying on top of all of these discounts that are coming out all the time, and people who are booking the trip don't have to worry about that at all.
Right. And not just discounts, dining too, because let's say everything is opened and you had your heart set on Ohana, because I know you love Ohana,
I do love Ohana.
and it's all booked. I mean, that restaurant is hard to get into. So let's say it's all booked. and you really want to go there. So every day, guess who's checking? Me, not you. I'm going in, logging in, trying to find the reservation that fits your trip so that you can have the restaurant you want on the day that you need.
Okay. So I guess I would go along for fast passes as well if they
Fast passes as
change.
well. Yeah,
Um, what about outside of Disney though? Like what are the broad services that you provide? Like you do hotels and cars? Do you
I
do
do.
airfare?
I can't book airfare alone. So as a package, yes, I can book airfare. So let's say you wanted to go to Hawaii and you were not staying at Alani, so it wasn't the Disney property there. I can book a package that includes your hotel, your car if you wanted to rent a car. I could do your airfare, and I could do any excursions you wanted. So you want to go to the luau? Fantastic. I can book the luau for you, or a cruise around the island, or a cruise on a catamaran. Basically, whatever you want. I could do all inclusives. There are lots of all inclusives that have Black Friday deals going on right now. So if you want to travel sometime next year to an all inclusive, now is the time to buy and get that booked because there are lots of specials right now for those.
Now, what about those particular uh, travel plans? Are those able to get discounts farther on into the year if you've already booked, or would that be a little bit more limiting to what Disney does?
I believe you can do discounts later on. I just don't think with the Black Friday ones that we have going on that there's going to be any better discounts than what they have right now. I think some of them have up to like 40% off, which is kind of crazy.
Wow,
Just trying to get
maybe
people
I'll
to
just go by
travel.
myself.
Yeah. There are lots of people who go to all inclusives by themselves all the time. So, yeah,
Interesting. That just seems weird to me, but okay.
it's
Um,
very relaxing, you know?
yeah, but a little boring. But I
Not
guess maybe that's the
necessarily.
point.
Well, it could be, but there are lots to do. There's lots to do at all inclusives. So you could even do other excursions outside of the all inclusive if you wanted to. So if there was just something you really wanted to do at one of the locations, you could still go out and explore an island or the area, even if you're staying at an all inclusive.
Okay, very cool. Well, we do have another question. Marie came in with which parks are open?
So in the US, the only parks that are open are the ones at Walt Disney World. So Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. Right now, the water parks aren't even open there. And
Yeah,
then,
that's kind of a bummer, but I understand why.
yes, Shanghai is open for sure. And Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea are opened. Paris is closed right now. They just closed again. And I don't know off the top of my head about Hong Kong. Sorry.
I I'm trying to think. I don't think I've heard anything about Hong Kong specifically, but again, I
I
haven't
know they opened
checked.
and then they
So,
closed, but I don't remember hearing if they opened again, so that's why I'm not 100% sure about Hong Kong.
yeah, I'm not sure. Um well, what are excuse me. What are some of the little things that people should consider while they're that they may not think about whenever they're booking a trip?
Hmm, that's a great question. I mean, there's a lot that goes into planning a trip sometimes, especially if you want those little extras. So when the spas are open or Bippity Boppity Boutique are open, those are things that you can book ahead of time. Right now, there is a capture your moment package with the photo um, pass
Mhm.
that you can do. It's a $50 charge for it, and it's a 20-minute session with just your family going around Main Street of Magic Kingdom. and getting pictures of you. So that's something that can be booked ahead of time. Actually should be booked ahead of time so that you're guaranteeing your spot. And that's things that you may not know about unless you're on the Disney boards all the time or things like that. So, especially for first time guests, getting a travel agent is very helpful and gets you all those extras that you don't necessarily know about.
Well, I think one thing that I wouldn't necessarily think about whenever it comes to a travel agent is the rental cars. Amanda, you've helped me rent a couple cars before, and most of the time, whenever I rent a car, it's just I go to whatever places renting cars at an airport, and I just say, "Hey, I want to rent a car." Hopefully, they have something available. Um, what would you say about renting cars going on a trip?
I mean, it depends on where you're going and what you're planning to do. For an all inclusive, I don't necessarily know that I would rent a car,
Well, no, not
but
for something like that, but like if you're going to need a car,
yes. Okay. What's the
I
question
mean,
again?
would you recommend going ahead and booking it through a travel agent? Are they going to pay a different price whenever they book it through a travel agent as opposed to booking it at the airport or booking it on their website?
I mean, if you're booking through the car rental place, then you're probably going to get the same price with the travel agent. But some of the discount, like Orbits and things like that, you may get a better deal with them just because they do bulk. And so you may get a better price with them. If you're just doing a car rental, you may be better doing it on your own. But
Yeah.
if you're doing it as a package with your flight and your hotel and things like that, then usually I can get a better deal if we're doing it all together than separating it all out.
All right. So what about the small things as it pertains to Disney specific? Like you talked about some of the stuff like Bippity Boppity Boutique, or you talked about like your dining plans or your fast passes.
Mhm.
What other small little details would you be able to consider that most people might not think about?
Something I thought about, strollers. If you don't want to bring your stroller with you to the park or on the airplane, then there's places that we can rent strollers from for you. Or scooters. There's a lot of people who need scooters or wheelchairs, and we can get those rentals for you as well. So that's something. Um, Special occasions. So if you wanted your room decorated because you're bringing your child for their first trip or their birthday, we can do packages set up in your room for you. So there's different not organizations, businesses that we can contact and have that set up for you as well. Birthday
Okay,
cakes, anniversary things. I mean, there's a lot of different little things that can be done to make your Disney trip even more special.
that's interesting. Like you say, birthday cakes. Like, what?
Hmm.
Give me an example of what you would need a birthday cake for whenever you go to Disney.
To
Like,
celebrate a
no, I know
birthday.
you give me a
Hello.
look. Like, you gave me a look. Like, what do you mean? What would I need a birthday cake for? No,
Yeah.
but like, because if you're going into like the restaurants and stuff, they have desserts that I'm sure that they would say, hey, here's like a little small dessert for your birthday or whatever. But they would legitimately accept a birthday cake and hold it for your reservation? Or what are you talking about specifically?
Like if you want it delivered to your room, there are lots of people who they celebrate their birthday or their children's birthday at Disney in a room. So their whole family goes, they all get a room and they celebrate the birthday in the room. So they sing happy birthday, they open presents. I mean, anything like that.
Okay, so you're not sending it to a restaurant and doing
No,
something there.
no,
Okay,
sending it to the room.
okay, that makes a little bit more sense now.
Yeah.
We have a couple more questions. Let's see. Oh, Marie asks, I heard there were some behind the scenes tours. Is this true?
It
And I guess let me add on top of that, can you book them?
Yes and yes. So there are lots of behind the scenes tours. Um, Pretty much every park has them. There are different ones for all different kinds of things. There's one that takes you the Keys to the Kingdom tour, where it takes you into the utilidors that are underneath Magic Kingdom, which is really cool. There's ones that are in Animal Kingdom, where you actually go behind the scenes there and you get to go into the safari where most everybody else isn't going. There are some where you actually have a meal on the safari, which is really cool.
Oh, that
Um,
sounds delicious. You get to climb in the trees and eat like the giraffes.
no, not like
Oh,
that.
well, then
Even
I don't
some of
want to go anymore.
the resorts have tours that you can do. So there are tons available. There's also VIP tours where you get some of them you can get in a group that's all set up and a whole bunch of people are there and you go to Magic Kingdom or whatever and get to ride whatever. There are personalized ones where you can have a group of X number of people and bring your whole group and they get you front of the line and you get to choose where you want to go. When park hoppers are available, you can go and park hop and go to whatever park and say, "Oh, these are the rides I want to ride." And they bring you to the front of the line and you go in and it's like you have an unlimited fast pass and don't have to ever wait. It's pretty
Oh, that's very
fantastic.
good.
Yeah.
That's really good. I like that a lot. Um, Chris asks, as a travel agent, do you know which car rental company is more reliable?
I mean, the big name ones are usually the most reliable. I know, especially in Orlando, there are a whole bunch of little places that you've never heard of before. You probably do not want to book through those, and they usually don't have that great of ratings. So I would definitely recommend one of the
The
ones you hear about all
major,
the time. Yeah, the
yeah,
major ones. They have the best customer service and the most available to you.
yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. Okay, so we talked about this already a little bit, but will someone get a better, higher, or same rate that they can get when booking themselves? So, have you seen anything where you were booking for somebody and it just came out cheaper than what they could have booked themselves?
Not necessarily right off the bat. So, what you see on the Disney website when you try to book your vacation is the same rate that I can get. Where I can get cheaper prices is when they come out with the discounts. So, I I don't find out ahead of time that there's a discount. But if I wake up in the morning and see that there is a discount on X number of dates, whatever, then I can go in and try to modify your reservation to get the better price. So that's something, a step that you don't have to do. I know whenever we went several years ago on that big family trip that I was talking about, whenever I finally saw that there were discounts available for our trip time and I went to try to book them, everything was gone at that price. So the benefit of the travel agent is we are finding out in an email, usually first thing in the morning. As soon as they're opening them up, we find out about the discounts. So we can get online right then and try to book those discounts. Whereas you, as just a traveler, you may just find out by going on a Disney board and seeing other people posting about it. So by that time, everybody else has already changed their reservations. Now you sat online on hold for 2 hours trying to switch your reservation. And then when you finally get through to somebody, everything's gone. So that is one of the benefits I think of having a travel agent is that they're on top of those things and can get those better deals for you
Yeah. What like would you get that email possibly a day before or would it be the same day?
same day usually.
Okay. So they don't do like any specialized press release for travel agents or anybody like that.
Nope.
Okay.
So I mean, it
So
makes it fair across the board, I guess. So a travel
okay.
agent is going to get the same advantage, I would think. Maybe a little better of an advantage just because they do email us. And so we know there's a discount available. Whereas everybody else is relying on the news coming out about it or hearing it word of mouth. Whereas we're
Or
getting it
seeing it on a
directly,
Facebook post or
right. We're
something. Yeah.
getting it directly from Disney.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And that's pretty good advantage of having a travel agent. If somebody is on top of their stuff, then definitely I think that's a big advantage. Uh, what about any time that you've seen that it was like higher than what you could book? And this particularly goes for anything, whether it's Disney or not Disney related trips.
Okay, say that again.
Have you ever seen it where
Where
your
what I can
services,
book is
yes, are
higher.
higher than what they can book themselves?
For Disney, definitely not. For other places, it depends because there are multiple ways we can book other vacations. So we go through different suppliers. So what I find at one all inclusive on one place may be higher than what another place has. So in that aspect, it could depend on where you're finding your information.
Okay. So as I expected, it's just kind of hit and miss and really depends on what you're searching for and the trip that you're going on, right?
Right. And for a person that's traveling, I would think those are definitely times when you may want a travel agent just because they do that research to try to find the best price. I know when I'm pricing out all inclusives, Hawaii trips, I'm going to several different suppliers and comparing what the prices are and sending you the one that I think is the best price.
Okay.
Unless there's something specific you're looking for. So if you want X hotel, certain room at X hotel that one supplier doesn't have but another does, then I may send the higher price just because that's exactly what you've asked for and it fits your requirements.
Right.
So, but
Okay.
obviously I'm not booking that without your approval.
Right.
So in
Like
that case, I may
everything has to be approved by client, correct?
right. Yes. So I would probably send both options and say, okay, this is the cheaper option, but it's not exactly what you want. Will it work? This is exactly what you want, but it's a little more expensive. Is this the one you would like? And then you decide, can I live with these changes? Can I live with a queen bed instead of a king bed? And then you decide, and then we go from there.
Okay. Well, when booking with a travel agent, can someone still edit their trip while they're on their vacation?
Yes, but everything goes through me. So you would talk to me about it. So let's say you wanted to add a day, then you'll talk to me and I can go in and add a day for you.
Okay.
Um, for
Now with
dining
that,
with
your resort might not be available. Your room might not be available, right?
right, so you may have to switch resorts. I mean, there are stipulations, things I can't necessarily do. I can't make a room magically appear. Um,
Oh, come on now. Yes, you can.
but
Can't
I
you?
do my best to try. I just can't always guarantee things like that. Dining, you can do modifications while you're there, like specifically at Disney. You can do modifications on your My Disney Experience account. But if you have a travel agent, why do you want to spend your time when you should be enjoying the park with redoing your dining? Just tell me what you're looking for, and I can do all of that for you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you
And
enjoy and I do the work.
I guess whenever fast passes come back to Disney, would you be able to change their fast passes or get more fast passes if they need be?
I could at that point, it's probably better if you're in the park for fast passes, I would think it'd be better for you to do it yourself just because at least I know for us whenever we're going and doing fast passes, If you're doing those extra ones after your first 3, it really depends on where you're located and what times they are, because we're trying to get as many fast passes as possible. So it's probably better for you to do it in the park. I mean, I can do it, but it's probably better for you because you know exactly where you are and what time you can get to wherever based on where you are in the park.
Okay. I had a question and it slipped my mind because I just read Marie's question. So let me go ahead and get to Marie's question. Are there any all-inclusive resorts in Quebec, Canada?
There are not any in Canada. No.
Okay. Well, that
There
answers
aren't.
that.
Yeah, there are. Off the top of my head, I can think of one true all inclusive in the United States. Most of them are in Mexico and the Caribbean.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Next question. Why is it worth booking through a travel agent? Like, what can people get that is not typical to booking a trip? We've kind of talked about some of the things already, but is there anything you haven't covered yet?
Um, One big example right now, and it's very relevant, is when COVID happened and the lockdowns happened and Disney closed and everything closed. The travel agents are the ones who sat online for hours waiting to get your money refunded if you were canceling or switch your vacation to a different date, often multiple times because we thought the parks were going to open in May and then they didn't. So then they switched them again and they moved to June and then the parks still didn't open. So then they moved it to August. So the travel agents are the ones who sat on the phone for hours trying to get all of this rearranged and money refunded and everything. And that's time that you didn't have to spend on the phone. To me, that is a huge bonus for getting a travel agent, especially right now, because we don't know what's going to happen in a month or 2 months with this virus. So have somebody who has your back and is taking care of you. And I think that goes for all times, but especially right now.
Yeah, I do know a couple people that had booked their it was a cruise that they were going on and they did it all themselves and every single day they would complain about something else that was going on, whether it was, oh, I had to be on the phone for hours trying to get a refund, or I had to be on the phone trying to get a different date later on, or, it wasn't just the crews that they were on the line with. They were also on the phone with the air, the flights. They were on
Mhm.
the phone with whoever was in the mix on their trip. So
Yeah. And
travel
that's
agents
what
do that
they.
for you. You don't have to
Yes,
worry about it.
the travel agent takes care of all of it. Now, those people were probably in a better position than people who booked through Costco. I heard many, many horror stories of people, some not even being able to get a refund for their vacation that was canceled because of COVID when they booked through providers like Costco. So just because you're getting a better price through some places doesn't necessarily mean you're getting a better experience. So
Yeah,
sometimes you get what you pay for. Just saying.
that is unfortunately true.
Yeah,
So just be weary of where you're getting your trips from, I guess.
right.
Uh, I mean, is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to talk about specifically? I mean, those are pretty much all the questions that I had. I don't see any other comments just yet on uh, our outlets. So, is there anything that you want to add? Something that you think I didn't ask that you wanted to talk about?
Specifically in Orlando when you're going, I know a lot of people go for Disney World, but there are lots of people who like to enjoy the other parks on their trips as well. So you may do 4 days at Walt Disney World and want to do 2 or 3 days at Universal and a day at SeaWorld, I can book all of that and make it super easy for you. So you're not having to go to Disney and book a vacation and then go to SeaWorld and book a vacation and then go to Universal and book a vacation. I can do it all for you. And then you have one person you talk to take care of your vacation and not three or five if you're flying and renting a car. And I could just take care of all of it. Makes it
Awesome.
easy.
Yeah, that makes it super easy. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't see any other comments. If you guys do have some, go ahead and send them in, because if not, we're gonna go ahead and cut it a little bit short since Emily's not here with us. But yeah, I can't say enough about how much having Amanda plan the trips at Disney has done for us specifically. Like she said earlier, we had well like 12 to 13 people that were there at the same time, kind of doing the same thing for the most part, but not everybody was. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, your job did not stop once you got to the park. It was still, you were looking for, fast passes after we used certain amounts. And then you were looking for other reservations that might have popped up that might have been at a different
Right.
time. So yeah, you're always on top of everything, even when you're on vacation. So
Yeah.
if you're on vacation and still doing it, I can only imagine what you would provide for somebody else who is on vacation themselves and you're just at home doing your job.
Yeah. Um, I had thought of something else. Oh, the parties. If you want to go whenever they start doing the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas party or the um not so scary Halloween party, that's also things that I can book as well.
Okay. Yeah, and I do like the Christmas party. The Christmas party is very
I
fun.
know. It
Uh,
is.
I do want to go to Mickey's Not So Scary
Me
Halloween.
too. And the Oogie Boogie.
Yes, the Oogie Boogie Bash is
Yes.
on my wish list for sure. So once COVID is gone, hopefully next year, I do
Yes.
hear murmurs that they're saying that hopefully, cross fingers, uh, like third or fourth quarter of next year, we should get a little bit back to a bit of normalcy. So um,
Yeah, I mean,
hopefully,
I'm hearing a vaccine should be available by the end of the year. So, and they're like 90 to 95% of effective. So, I mean, obviously it's going to be for the first responders and things like that first, which it should be. But I mean, I think any little bit helps to move us in that direction.
yes, for sure. Uh, One thing that we can kind of talk about before we head out is I know that Josh Tomorrow had a pre-recorded uh, event that he did for IAPA. What, like last week, the week before, maybe?
No, I think it was, thought it was this week, the beginning of this week.
Oh, maybe it was the beginning of this week. But he talked about a couple things. One specifically kind of relates to the parks and bringing people back and bringing shows back, and I think that's pretty exciting news. I mean, I think we all
It
knew
is.
that shows were going to eventually come back. I don't think that that's like some big bombshell that he dropped on everybody, but just mentioning it.
Yes. Yes, mentioning it because with all the layoffs recently that happened, I know people were very nervous when the shows are gonna come back, which shows were gonna come back, were they all coming back, or just some of them coming back? Um, because when people are let go, you don't really know. Maybe they find a job somewhere else or, you know, I don't know. So people were very nervous about that. And we've seen other shows kind of go away and not come back. So people just weren't sure. So
Yeah.
it helps calm people's nerves whenever Josh Tomorrow is saying, "Hey guys, we're going to start bringing entertainment back as soon as we can." That helps.
Yeah, that definitely helps. So we do have a couple other comments from Marie and Chris. So Marie says, "Very true, awesome job." I think she's relating back to what I was saying about how good your services are whenever you're booking trips for us as a family. Uh, and then also your husband Chris, it makes it so easy because I can just relax and just show up when I'm told to show up. Very, very good, Chris. Very good. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything that we wanted to cover in this one. Again, since Emily's not here, I feel like we could have had probably a couple other questions. Emily's pretty good at coming up with some random stuff. So, uh, but yeah, I think we covered pretty much the gist of what it would be like to have a travel agent. And if you've never used a travel agent before, Amanda's services are amazing, and you should definitely book her for any trip. So if you're going to Disney or you're going to Orlando Studio or Universal Studios in Orlando, or if you're going anywhere else, just save the headache. Just book a travel agent. And I highly recommend Amanda, obviously. Not because she's my sister, but because she does an amazing job.
And I'm happy to
So,
help anybody. So if you have a friend going, just let them know about me.
yeah. And where can they contact you?
My Facebook page is a really easy place to find me. Amanda.hollis, Capture the Magic Vacations. Um, I could give my email, but it's super long and nobody's going to remember it just from me saying it. So,
um, and also, I mean, you can check our show notes and this video, obviously, but you can also check out our podcast. It's available at pretty much all of the major podcast platforms: Apple, uh, Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio. I mean, we're pretty much everywhere. Stitcher. If you search for us and we're not on that platform, just send us an email and we can definitely get on there. I'm going to go ahead and put our social information here so you can contact us on social media at T3M Podcast, and that is on all platforms. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And you can also email us. You can contact Amanda through this email address if you want to. If you can't find her um, work
Facebook.
email,
Yeah.
this is a good way to get in touch with her as well. T3mpodcast at gmail.com. So I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Definitely check out our podcast on all of those platforms that I mentioned. We're going to be on there next week on Thursday. We release every single Thursday. If we're not on YouTube, we're on the podcast. If we're not on the podcast, we're on YouTube. So check us out and let us know how we're doing. I
Yeah.
guess since Emily's not here, have a zippity doot all day.
And see you real soon.
Have a good night.